everyone, my name is Martha Klimp and thank you for coming to my channel. Embracing the supernatural and the paranormal with developing your psychic abilities. This is the book that I wrote. I've had a few videos, small videos with this book trying to promote it. Now today I thought I would talk to you about oracle cards versus tarot cards. Now the difference between them is, one, the tarot cards are made with the same intentions and they've been around for centuries. Now the more well-known deck of cards would be the Rider-Waite, and he was born around 1850, and this set of cards in the book was published somewhere around, I'd say, I'm not sure of the date now, around 1920. I don't know if it says it in the book here. Probably not, because this edition is 1995. Originally published in 1910. Now, he was a psychic in the 1800s and early 1900s, and he belonged to the organization called the Golden Dawn, which were people that were members of this group. They were psychic members, and they would collaborate with the people, each other. Now, I'm finding on the market now, rather than you having the Rider-Waite deck, you have another set of tarot deck cards, and they're made from Aquarian Press. Now, they go along the line with the definitions of the Rider-Waite deck. Now you have the Akashic tarot cards here. Now they're made by two reverends, Sharon Ann Klinger and Sandra Ann Taylor. They are beautiful cards in that, and they're along the line of the Akashic records and your past lives, stuff like that. Now, they are very beautiful cards. Now you have another deck that is self-made, not me, but Claudette Barron Reed. Now, she's a tarot reader. This deck is a new deck, and she has her own definitions. They're not going along with the Rider deck interpretations. They have a more of her intuition. They are beautiful cards. They're new. I've only played with them a couple of times, but I do like the pictures. Now you have Philip Permute. Now, his tarot deck is actually used with crystals. Now, they have similar definitions as the Rider-Waite interpretations, but the thing is, they are very colorful cards, and they come along with the use of crystals. So in this deck, you could see that they're very pretty as well. Now, they are a deck of 78. Usually, tarot decks will come in the 78 card deck. Now, when you go towards, that's about it in tarot decks I have. Now you go into oracle cards, and you have James Van Praagh. He is a famous psychic that runs schools. He does psychic readings and everything. He goes around the world teaching. Now his cards are very beautiful as well, but these cards are made by his intuition, his experience. So these are brand new cards as well. Messages from the guides. Transformation cards. Now, it says that James Van Praagh, #1 New York Times best-selling author. Now, oracle cards, they come in any size deck. This one is a 44 card deck. This one here is Journeys, the Soul's Journey lesson cards. It's a 44 card deck, and it is from James Van Praagh. He uses his own intuitions. Apparently he does speak to the dead, and he does speak to angels and spirit guides. This deck I like is The Sacred Force by Denise Lynn. It's a new deck as well. Most of these decks have been bought in the last year. So with so many decks, I do not have the time to read or to use all of them. So I just pick a deck. Now Denise Lynn, she is a Cherokee North American native. Now she uses her background in order to design her cards. They're very pretty, and her deck is a 53 card deck. Oh, her video is 53 free videos, and her cards are 52 in this deck. All these people have used artists in their intuition. Now, Kyle Gray, he is a well-known psychic who speaks to the angels. Now, he's from the UK, Scotland, and he has made several decks as well. Now, this one here is a new deck, and it has 44 images. Now, they're very beautifully designed, easy to use, self-explanatory, and with a lot of intuitive hits. Now, Kyle Gray, he speaks to the angels. Now, there's a story behind Kyle Gray. He was a young boy, a teenager, and he went on a trip with his mother, and when he got home, word had gotten out that he was the man that speaks to the angels. So he was offered a few jobs, and without him knowing it, he seen a psychic before he left, because he was wondering what was happening. And they said that he was going to go on this trip, and by the time he came home, he was going to be well known. So apparently the reporters went and met him at the airport and dubbed him the man who talks to angels. Kyle's a very nice man, and his cards are very nice and intuitive as well, but he uses his own impressions. Now, Kyle has made several decks along with writing books, and they are very interesting. Now, Moonology. This is another oracle deck from Yasmin Bolin. I'm quite not sure where she is from, but she went and made this deck, and she has written books, and it's all going, the interpretations is on Moonology. That is a mouthful. Now, her deck is a 44 card deck. Doesn't mean that everyone has a 44 card deck. but I'm coming up with, okay, Denise Lynn, 52. This is 44, and this one is 44. Cards to a deck. This one's a 44 card deck as well. Oh, I don't know if you can see this. So they're 44 card decks. Tarot cards, like I said, come in a deck of 78 cards. And we went through Denise Lynn. Her cards are very beautiful as well. But this deck is 52 cards. So, next you move on to the archetype cards by Carolyn Myss, or Mice. Her last name is spelled M-Y-S-S. Now her cards are very pretty, intuitive, and they have like a double meaning, like most of the decks you have here. You have a positive reading and you have a negative reading. Now this card deck is to help you with your past lives. It could bring some of your past lives into the mix here. Like a lot of these other cards, it depends on what card reading you're going to do. Now, Carolyn Myss's cards are very beautiful, and they do have a nice architectural attributes. Now, the artist was very nice. The pictures are very nicely done. But when you look at the victim here in the architect, you've got light attribute. Prevents you from letting yourself be victimized or victimizing others. Now that's supposed to be the positive one. Now the shadow, which is the negative, the shadow attributes, playing the victim for positive feedback in the form of pity, inability to maintain personal boundaries. Now that is the negative one. It's telling you what the meaning of the card is and how to use it. By using all the meanings that are the definitions that are with the card. Now, all these decks of cards, I just dropped something. All these decks of cards have a book that comes with them to explain the definitions and what the card means, and the card layouts, which is interesting. Everyone has a different type of layout. Now I'm finding this with the tarot cards or oracle cards on Pinterest. People have put all kinds of layouts on Pinterest. Now the next deck that I have is a very old deck. This one goes back to 1985, but that's not the first edition of it. This one here is called the Cartouche. It's an Egyptian way of telling the future. Now, they're very colorful cards, as you can see, and if anyone knows the difference between these cards, they're not a tarot deck, they're not exactly an oracle deck. This is supposed to be an ancient way of divination that had been used since the beginning of time with the Egyptians. Now the thing is, everyone is not sure about who was the first people or country to design the cards, tarot cards. It's a toss-up. But every country, it doesn't matter where they're from or the length of their, where the countries are, let's see, from, how do you explain it? The distance. They had to travel great distances. But the thing with the great distance, with these way of making cards, you can never tell what country is the first. They say the Chinese, the Japanese, the North American Indians, the Egyptians. But when it comes right down to it, the information or research I've done is the Egyptians. But these cards made it the tarot cards. The original tarot cards that went through Europe back in the 1900s. They were brought back from the Templars doing their crusades. So the Egyptians went and gave the cards to the Templars to take back to their countries. I believe it was France. Now, they've been used for quite a while. But the thing is, you never know who was the first. And each country, by the Roman Catholic Church or the Protestant Church, went and banned these cards. They first came out as a game that you would play until they found out the game they were playing could predict future outcomes. So they started using them for the future. Now, one of the negative things that happened through this was Queen Elizabeth I, I believe it was. She was married to her sister. Mary, Queen of Scots, was her half-sister. And she was married to David Rousseau. And Elizabeth I was told by the church or her advisors that her sister is going to come for her throne. So she had her sister and her husband executed, so she could not come out after her throne. Unfortunately, after that unfortunate outcome, the cards were not used by them, by royalty, for advancement in their strategy to battles. They may have used them after just to play games, but the royalty was not going to use these type of cards or tarot cards to predict the outcomes of their adventures or their battles. This is just the first of one of the videos that I'm planning on doing on tarot cards. Now I'm going to want to do some readings to show you how to use them. But today is the difference between the oracle cards versus the tarot decks. And like I said, a lot of the tarot decks are coming up basically somewhere along the line of the Rider-Waite, but people are starting to use their own intuitions, which is coming away from the interpretation of the Waite Rider deck. I'm sorry, I'm very nervous, but I'm trying to get used to talking to people on camera, and I'm having a difficult time. So I would like to thank you, and I hope you like this video, and I hope you come back again soon. The next videos I want to try to do would be showing you how to use oracle decks and tarot decks in the future. You can buy your own decks. It doesn't matter what they are as long as they resonate with you. You can go into a store, you can pick up a deck if they feel good to you. You feel vibrations from them, and that deck is probably for you. Some of these decks that I bought, I did not buy them in a store. I had them shipped in from Hay House. Hay House is a publishing company that has an online store where you can get a lot of the oracle cards, and they're starting to come out with tarot decks. So yeah, all these cards except for these tarot cards came from Hay House. They're beautiful cards. They did a good job in making them. They're interesting. But thank you for watching my channel, and I hope you come back soon. And the next videos, I am planning on showing you how to use these cards. Have a good day, and please come back again. Thank you.